We received a comment on our last video, one of the last videos we did on preparing for the winter, and it actually really hit me at the core. It took a while to think about it and let it kind of soak in, but what it was is this woman said, and it's true, she said that she hardly ever sees prepping videos for people who are alone. And she kind of pointed out and made it sound like, there's two of us. We're a couple, we're fine. And I thought about this for actually a couple of days. I've been thinking about it. And then something came to my head. I had this experience where I can relate, and it totally helped me understand. What happened was, I backpack, and I backpack about 97.99% of the time, I'm by myself. And I'm out there in no man's land. And one day I was out by a lake. There was nobody near me. Who knows, miles away, I don't know. But as far as I was concerned, there wasn't anybody around. It was just me. Just like always, I love it. And that's what I was doing. It was about 12:30, 1 o'clock at night, and I hear this crunch, 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 coming. I'm sure it had crunching before because it woke me up. And I grew up in Montana in grizzly country, and one thing I know is the sound of a bear. So I go, that's a bear. So I'm laying there and I'm thinking, well, maybe it'll go away. And I hear crunch, 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 and I hear it, and it was getting closer and closer and closer to me. And I was thinking, this is not good, And I'm laying there, and I peek under. I have this little space under my tent that's mesh, and it's hard to see because the headlamp kind of shone through and kind of reflect on it, but I could see the bear, and he was coming closer, and then he comes up probably about 15 feet from my tent, and he's sitting there, and his nose is going back and forth like this, and he's sniffing, and he got down, and he actually blew some of the dust. And then he came even closer, and the next day, I actually got a photograph of my foot next to where that bear was, and it was right next to my tent. I have never felt so alone in my life. I've never felt so helpless. I wasn't really scared, which is kind of strange, but I felt alone, and I felt helpless. And when I go out, because I'm not in grizzly country, I don't carry any kind of weapon, and I don't carry bear mace or anything like that. It's just me, because I like to pack light. But when I was thinking about what that woman said, I really, really understood.
So that feeling Wayne described, that's what a lot of people felt like, being alone. And when you're, say you're alone in a storm or a blackout, that's how you feel. And I've experienced that too,
Yeah.
because when he's gone backpacking, I'm here alone. And at one time, I did have a day, or was it evening, that, guess what? The power went out. And here I am sitting here, darn. Okay, I practiced for this now. This is not a drill.
This is not a drill.
So, what I basically did is, first thing I did is I contacted my neighbor and said, hey, is your power out? And I contacted another neighbor, your power out, making sure it wasn't just something in my home. So I corresponded with my neighbors, and everybody was out. Nobody had internet or anything like that. So, power actually. So I just hung out, waited it out. It wasn't quite all the way dark yet, so I was okay. And fortunately, the power did come on and come back on in about an hour, so I didn't have to hook up the generator, get that going, or do anything else. So I was going to give it at least an hour before I could see if I needed to do that, because at an hour your food's still okay, everything's good. So, but I did talk to my neighbors, but talk about being alone, and then you just like wandering around the house thinking, okay, should I turn it on? Should I not turn it on? Should I wait? So it's a lot more stressful when you're alone.
And that's something we need to start acknowledging.
Yeah.
And that's one thing we're going to start helping, trying to get an idea and try to help people. Of course, if anybody has comments on something on how you can give advice on this, please send them our way. But one thing you got to acknowledge is that this is scary. It's okay to be a little bit scared, but be aware, and you have to, start to come up with like a safe space. I think is one of the first things we were thinking of. We've been talking about this, and a place where you can just relax. A place where you can just sit down, and once you get set up, sit back and read a book or whatever, right?
Relax. I like to sit and crochet.
Yeah.
You know, light some candles around your house. Keep, so you can see what's going on, and just,
And
wait it out,
Yep.
and relax.
And then and also, of course, you have your preps that you got to do.
Yeah.
You can set things up, and that does. It takes so much edge off of it. Keeps
Yeah.
you busy. We just did that video on setting up a room, and just doing that, it was, just setting everything up.
Mm-hmm.
It's you're by yourself, which is, lonely, but it should keep you occupied. I think that's one of the key things is when you're alone, don't let it get in your head, that you're alone. Because there's a lot of noises out there. There's a lot of bumps. There's a lot of who knows what. So you got to do that. And then try to stay connected. Like she said, like Belinda said, she tried to contact her neighbor. So I would recommend if you can. And I would say don't start at the emergency and say, hey, donk, 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 hi. My name is...
I'm your neighbor.
Yeah, I'm your neighbor. Start to get a rapport, and that way you also know, because I'm sure, we all have some sketchy neighbors and good neighbors, so you get to know the good neighbors, get a rapport with them, so you have somebody. If you live, in a distance from them, then if the car works, you could probably drive there if you had to. And then another thing is that, if the phone works, call somebody, have a battery backup so you can use your phone and talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Let them know you're okay, and just spend time.
Or talk to a friend just to keep your mind off things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that always helps.
Or if you have a radio, like I'm a ham radio operator, so I can talk to all around the world if I want to. Mm-hmm. And if you just have a regular radio, just a small radio with a friend, you could give one to your friend, so that way, a little two-way radio, you guys can just talk back and forth. That way you can just talk to each other, and you don't need a license or anything. Mm-hmm. Another thing you want to have, and we do at our house, we have our headlamps around our bedposts. Mm-hmm. That way, if it gets dark, if everything goes bad, then right there, you just reach over, put my headlamp on, and I'm good to go,
Yeah, even though you might have a couple candles, or you might not want to have any candles
in
your home, because you never know who's wandering around outside.
Yeah.
So, you just want to be cautious at the same time.
Yeah. And just relax, learn to relax.
Make yourself a meal, good time to practice your preps.
Yep.
Yeah, I've been here alone, like I said, when he was out and the power went out, and I was like, first thing I did is I kind of went outside and looked around, see what was going on.
Yeah.
Saw my neighbors looking around. I said, okay, it's out everywhere.
And we know a lot of you probably are alone. So ask us, put it in the comments, what would help you?
Yeah.
Is there anything that we could help you with? Because this is kind of new to us, actually. We know a lot of things, but not everything.
Yeah, exactly.
But here, if you ask us questions, what would you like us to cover? Because I think this is a topic that needs to be covered. I think it'll really help a lot of people. Basically, right now, it's got to reiterate that, with that bear that night, I didn't sleep that much, but I made it through it.
Yeah, and to end your story, it did go away, right?
It did go away.
Yeah.
It wandered away, went over to where I ate.
It was looking for food.
It was looking for food.
Yeah.
And I'm very good. I hang either I have a bear canister or I hang my food, so I didn't have to worry about that. It went to where I do my cooking, and it wandered off into the woods, and I fell asleep, which is kind of weird. Now what I do is I put earplugs in so I don't have to worry about hearing bears.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a good thing, though.
Yeah, but no, there's nothing I can do. So, it's just, but now I've dealt with that, and I think we can all deal with this. Since you've been here with us this long on the video, I assume you guys are, pretty hardcore into prepping, and we'd like to let you know, we've mentioned before that we are now doing consultation. So you can just look down in the description, and I'll have a little link there that'll go and give you some more information. You can email us if you want more information on it.
Yeah.
And we'd love to, do one-on-one. It'd be a video thing like this, but we'd like to, work with you. So, Belinda, I think you have a fact for the day.
I do. I do have a fact for the day, by the way. The fact is, in the United States, approximately 16.2 million people over the age of 65 are living alone. So you see, you're not the only one.
You're not the only one.
Yes.
There's 16.2 million people. Is that crazy or what?
Yeah.
That blew my mind when I saw that. So
yeah.
If you're new to this channel, welcome. All you old timers,
Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching. My name is Wayne.
And I'm Belinda.
And we're Normal Prepping.